Hey, everybody. I'm still here at downtown Cleveland at the Hilton with Banyan's Tire Tracks podcast. I'm joined here with Doug and Curt from Trinity. Thank you guys for being here. Really excited. So first off, let's start with this. What does Trinity do? What's your organization, and what are your roles in there?
Trinity is located in the southern part of Delaware.
Okay.
Sort of out of the way,
Yeah.
as you would describe it.
It's not down the street from downtown Cleveland.
No, it's not. Trinity Logistics is a top 25 broker in the United States. We recently cracked $1 billion in sales. We average about 550 to 600,000 shipments annually, primarily in the truckload, but we also do a lot of LTL, which is Curt's specialty.
All right.
We also do intermodal, warehousing, international through third-party partners. But we exemplify in our approach to business. We are focused on the customers, and the customers to us are both shippers and carriers.
Okay.
Without either one, they don't make a difference.
Yeah.
I'm the CFO at Trinity Logistics, been there 16 years.
There we go.
And I'll tell you, Trinity has two assets. My accounts receivable, which I know what the number is. It's a large number. But the second asset is our team members, and they're priceless. As a Sears or the MasterCard commercial, they are priceless commodities, and Curt's one of those people of the 350 people and 120 agents we get across the United States, Canada, Mexico, and overseas.
Hey, you now have leverage on your next pay talk.
Anyway, it's a little bit of a Trinity, but yeah, I'm the CFO there.
All right. And Curt?
I'm the director of LTL at Trinity. I've been there for just about 13 years. It is a wonderful place to work, to build a career. We have a lot of strong tenured people there, like Doug was talking about, that they don't come in. We have very low turnover. They build a career there. We treat everyone with a servant leadership principle where there's no closed doors, there's no hierarchy. Doug treats everyone the same way he would treat anybody else on the street. So my role in the LTL department is to direct us in the direction that we want to be, and leading a team of operations and then back-end billing people. And we do LTL, I'm always told we do it differently to other 3PLs, where we make the barrier to entry super low. We're easy to do business with. So if a customer says, I don't have enough time to do this, this, and this, let us handle it. We'll offload that responsibility. We'll build that partnership with you. We take it from cradle to grave, whether they're big, small, in between. It doesn't matter to us. Every customer means the world to us, and we're happy to have them and happy to serve them.
Now, when you said you're driving the team forward, what does that look like? I mean, it sounds like you're at a good place.
Yeah.
Like you said, low bar to get in, make it easy, so it's not their problem. It's mostly yours. You're handling that. Where are you driving towards?
So we're driving towards, we have a couple bullet points that we hit for pretty much every business planning season. That is productivity and efficiency, profitability, and then how can we interact with our customers in the best way so that they have the best experience. So what we're doing is, just to give you an outline on kind of where we've come from, in the past 5 years, we have almost doubled our footprint of LTL within Trinity as a company. Trinity has historically been a very truckload strong company. With the help of Banyan and the partnership with that and the technology behind it, we've been able to grow that and double that percentage up to, it's almost a third of what we ship at Trinity now.
Wow.
So it's more than just a value add. It's more than just a small piece of the pie. It's a heavy hitting sales thing that our folks can use to sell the brand, sell our name, get it out there with our customers. And we've seen tremendous growth over the past 2 years. The pandemic, as anybody in transportation will tell you, was sort of a big catalyst to a lot of growth for that, because people weren't leaving. People were buying stuff online. The e-commerce shot up like crazy, and the supply chain became more and more important. And people knew about the supply chain at that point, so we gained exposure. Your grandmother was like, oh, I heard about the cargo ships. So your people that are involved with it that otherwise wouldn't have cared are now understanding that 3PLs and the carriers and the shippers and customers all work together to work on the back end in an otherwise product that people would just ignore for the most part, except when they see tractor trailers on the road that might hold up some traffic.
Yeah, and you said that within that 5 years, LTL has grown tremendously for you. Obviously, like you talked about with COVID, and do a little bit of pitching here. I know Banyan has some part to play in that, but how much has automation been a player within that? Why has that helped?
Yeah, sure. So automation and technology is sort of the future of any logistics company right now. Rates are rates, stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, technology, automation, ease of use, and Banyan has been a real good component for us to sell as a TMS platform, a data warehouse, internal application for our teams to get more efficient, have more productivity, do more with less, and things like some of the back end features that you guys have built for us customly. You guys work with us on just about any idea that I possibly have, and I have a long list of them, and you guys don't laugh at them. You support them. You give me the scopes. You talk through the processes with us. So,
Doug, you're going to have a problem because he's going to take my job and he's going to work for Banyan. We're just going to put him in front of all of our customers right there. That's everything we want to hear.
Give me a
right
whiteboard
there.
and a marker, and I'm good for the rest of the day.
That's awesome to hear because, I'm in it day in and day out talking to clients, talking to customers, and not from the logistics background. And to me, it was crazy how many organizations didn't have automation because I just assumed they did because this is my first step into it in a lot of ways. But, just a little bit of going into that is everything we want to hear back. If I'm looking at a perfect thing of what I want to hear back, you just kind of nailed that right there. So with that kind of in line and where the past 12 to 18 months has been, where you've come in 5 years, what does 2023 look like for Trinity as a whole, not just in the LTL space, but as a whole? Especially, you'll have a broader picture, but we'll start with you, Curt.
Yeah, I'll hit on the LTL piece. So right now, it's looking like we're going to finish 22 in the same sort of trajectory that we have been for the past 2 years.
Okay, awesome.
It's a little bit different than truckload, so it's hard to kind of quantify that and equate that to the same sort of standard, but we are expecting it to kind of taper off and remain steady, but not necessarily dip down in any sort of drastic manner.
Go up forever? No.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Just a steady incline for the rest of the time. But we don't anticipate it being any type of a lull. We're looking to continue strong, especially with the ever-advancing technology and our customer platforms and stuff like that we have with them. So I'll give it over to Doug to speak on it more general.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting 2022 into 2023, especially with regard to the economic situation going on right now with the interest rates continue being raised by the Fed. We're already beginning to see a slight decline in productivity, not in our place, but just in manufacturing as a whole.
Okay.
People begin to curtail buying things that requires the use of capital
right
on there. So we expect freight volumes to I wouldn't say dip, but level off. And maybe dip to a degree, but not a large.
Within reason. Nothing to freak out about.
Like we heard this morning, I don't expect to hear see a deep recession or anything of that nature.
Okay.
But it's just a gradual part of that. Because again, the consumer's got to feel good about what they're doing and how they're spending. Granted, they've saved some money, but they've also spent money during this process as well.
I'm really good at spending money. Yeah.
Well, now and it's good, but we'll see what happens with the interest rates going up and the fact the Fed's talked about they want to actually, which is really weird, unemployment to increase in the rate. Because as you keep hiring workers, you keep paying them more to get them into the seats and stuff.
Yes.
So you get a continued wage-based thing, which allows for the prices to continue to go up, and you continue to get this spiraling inflation. So then you begin to bring that back a little bit to curtail a little bit of the domestic spending.
I get that.
On there.
I'm not a genius within that level, but that you explained that in a way that made sense, and I appreciate that. So I would have never thought that was kind of counter logistic or logical to my thinking.
Because the small business is hiring.
Yeah.
Larger businesses are beginning to curtail, but the smaller businesses are still out there.
It's at the high level, it's consolidation. At the low level, it's getting more productivity wherever they can. Okay.
And what we look like from a freight perspective, during the pandemic, of course, customers had a need to get the shipments there.
Immediately any way possible.
And so they're willing to keep ramping up the rates and up the rates and up the rates and such, right? And the carriers enjoying a great time. Now that you begin to see freight begin to level off, begin to come down from the highs.
Bottom's got to fall out somewhere.
Carriers now have, their rates are dropping.
Right.
And unfortunately, the ones who entered into the very end,
thinking that that's where it was going to play
be,
for
right?
a while.
They're going to be hurting.
They're freaking out a little bit, yeah.
And then and the market's going to go back. The shipper's going to say, yeah, I had to go through all this stuff. And now it's sort of leveled off and everything else. Now I'm going to start coming down on our prices. So we expect to see some margin squeezes over the future. But honestly, and it's more about working with the customer now.
Right.
To be proactive in our relationship.
It's a partnership.
It is. Yeah. It is. And make sure they're successful so that we continue to be successful.
And that's what, with Banyan and what me and my other account managers and other coworkers, it's very much when we get to deal with brokers and 3PLs, it's very much a win-win. There isn't a certain situation where you do okay, but I do better because of it. No, it's exponential as far as your win relating to it. And looking at any business, when it's everybody is going the same direction for the same reason, it's really nice because there's not much of a conflict within those ideologies. Right. But thank you for that, and for kind of going to the next one. So that's next year. What do you see 5 years from now as far as kind of I don't know, it's more of a guess at this point, but it's the way that things are moving, what would you think that the industry might look like in 5 years?
I think the industry in 5 years will be much more technology advanced than us for brokers. I think you're going to see interactions directly through technology. People, but you'll never replace the people. Relationships still matter.
Hearing that a lot today.
Yeah, relationships.
And that's good to know
matter.
because I'm a person. So
yeah, no, and I don't anticipate that ever going away because you want to provide that great service. Let's face it, me and the other 8,000 brokers, we all do the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. We utilize the same carriers, LTL especially.
Right.
You're using FedEx, UPS, I mean, you're using the same carrier. What do you differentiate yourself with? Service.
It's who you trust and who gets it
done
for you.
And do you help them out in a tight situation, not looking at dollars? But I think 5 years from now, I think there'll be some more consolidation within the brokerage space. Mm-hmm. I think there'll probably be more agents within the brokerage space.
I got you.
I think that'll be also the case, so that smaller brokers will say, hey, because there are also people looking to get out or do something differently.
Right.
So either, like I said, a consolidation or become agents. Because again, it's the back end stuff that all of a sudden takes insurance.
Yes.
Collections.
It's the tertiary aspects of it. Yeah.
So I imagine that's going to happen within the industry as itself. I think you'll see the number of brokers shrink, but actually the volume going through brokers are going to increase dramatically because as a customer, you don't want to hire 15, 20 people to run the transportation department when you can outsource it to a company like Trinity.
Right.
Outsource the LTL to Curt and his team there.
There you go.
And it gets handled well, and you can focus on your business.
Right.
And realize the transportation's taken care of.
You don't have to wear so many hats.
Correct. So I see that as well happening in there. Curt?
Yep. I mean, I agree with everything Doug just said. On the LTL space, we look to see I look to see more carriers sort of looking at not necessarily final mile, but more of a consolidation, like kind of what YRC, our yellow Matt talked about earlier today about redefining their role as a terminal-to-terminal basis to have faster service, that 1 and 2 day delivery point, increasing those turnaround times for our customers. Because right now, we've got a lot of consumers and shippers and customers that went through that pandemic, and there's some expectations of those service levels because, like what Doug said, we all use the same carriers, at least in LTL. Mm-hmm. So when FedEx is trying to set themselves apart from a UPS or an Estes, what's going to set them apart? Rates and their service. And for us, that's where we can sell that stuff as well through Banyan, through the integration process. But I look to see more advancement in that area, as well as the technology from the carriers. They've been heavily investing in personnel, but also their technology, as well as their assets. We had a couple carrier reps over the past year that told us they were placing several hundred orders for trailers and tractors that wouldn't be completed until 23, 24.
Bring it in-house.
Correct. So they are ramping up their assets to be able to handle any capacity, assuming that we continue trending like we are, which based on the economic forecast, it doesn't look like it's necessarily going down. So carriers are investing in themselves now to be able to better set up themselves for those next 2, 3, 4 years.
That's great because I got Doug saying you'll have the opportunity to go out of house, and you saying that people are bringing it in house. So I guess that in 5 years, it all depends on how you're looking at it.
We'll see.
Where you think that's going to play into what you do better, and I like that because it's two different outlooks, it's two different sides of the story. But so I also hear it's automation still, further automation and more immediate.
Yep.
Like getting that immediate service
less
level.
Touch.
We're gonna keep going
Self-service.
that way.
Yep.
Self-service, exactly. So I love a lot of what you guys have hit on here, and you guys are a great partner to have within the space.
Thank you.
We love the relationship, and I'll kind of give it to you now. You got the mic first. You got a statement to make to your customers, to people in the logistics space. What's one thing you can walk away from hearing and talking about today that you'd put out there?
Banyan related?
No, it doesn't have
I can plug you guys.
No, I mean we got Banyan all over here. You're already half our spokesperson now. They're actually firing me after this. You're going to be hosting the podcast, but
Sure.
Trinity Logistics, anything.
So as you know, I'm born and bred at Trinity. It's been a third of my life essentially. I think the word broker has a bad rap to it, and 3PL. I guess what I would want to say is that for customers and shippers alike, we look at you guys as partners, not customers, not shippers, not a dime to be made. We look at the partnerships and the value because as they grow, we grow.
Well,
and
be
as we
sustainable.
succeed, they succeed. And it's a sustainable method. There's plenty of others out there that would rather make a quick buck, and that's never been our philosophy is customer first. How can we make that experience something that they want to come back to, and to reinforce that with our team members internally as well, to sell that statement and create that experience.
Hey, I don't think that's ever going out of style.
I hope not.
So,
Not here at least.
Doug, do you have anything for as kind of a last shot?
Yeah, last shot for Trinity itself. I mean, we're people-centric and provide a great methodology, or people-centered, freight-centric. So we focus on the people, the relationships across the board, from team members to the agents to the shipping customers and carrier customers that we have. And that's what we want to focus on, is continuing to maintain and building relationships with people. We don't want to be the biggest. That's not our goal. But what we want to do is to deliver the best. Deliver the best to all people in these relationships that we have. And that's what Trinity is about. We've grown dramatically over the last several years, but we've never lost focus of the people.
Hey, you guys have said some great things in ways that I couldn't say it, so that's why I sit back here and let you do the work for me, and I really appreciate you joining us today. Doug, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kurt, you'll be hearing from us to do our next commercial, and that's right, we'll contact your agent.
That'd be me.
Thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching another episode of Tire Tracks, and we'll keep at it.